Capcom has faced some major problems with Monster Hunter Wilds. Sure, when it initially released, it sold like crazy, but now sales have fallen off of a cliff. The review scores for this title are still really bad, and now we're finding out that it has gotten beat by basically every other game that they've launched recently. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, over the past couple of years, Capcom has put out a lot of games, and basically all of those titles are now beating Monster Hunter Wilds, even though Wilds released this year, which is crazy to think about because this was supposed to be a really big game, and yeah, initially it did sell like 10 million copies, which was crazy, but at the same time, when your sales fall off a cliff this fast, it just goes to show that you did either reach your initial audience and basically nobody else is particularly interested, or a lot of people that might have purchased it decided, you know what, I'm just going to wait for the price to get lower and lower. And Monster Hunter Wilds did initially face a hell of a lot of backlash because not only did they kind of normie-ify this game, it definitely didn't feel as, I'm just going to say, hardcore as the other Monster Hunter games. It seemed like they were trying to draw in a normie audience or a casual gamer audience, which didn't sit well with a lot of big fans, but you also had a lot of technical problems with this title. There were bugs, there were glitches, it didn't run very well, the performance was absolutely abysmal, and it's just sad that this game did have a lot of potential, but now I'm certain that they probably won't end up updating it very much. They probably won't go through several waves of content launches just because, yes, the player counts have fallen off, the interest really has fallen off, and it's just so sad because this is what happens when you release a game in a really bad state. A title that had potential to be really good and be around for a long time now has no interest, and it's funny to see that basically all of their recent games that have launched over the past couple of years have been beating it. So this article says Monster Hunter Wilds launched at the end of February. Between anticipation for the new installation and very strong review scores, Wilds performed incredibly well out of the gate, selling 10 million copies in its first month. Fast forward another 7 months, and the performance issues surrounding Wilds have resulted in the newest Monster Hunter failing to add to that impressive launch number in a significant way. So Capcom has published its first quarterly numbers, which cover sales between the beginning of July 2025 through the end of September 2025. As a part of its report, the studio has updated the lifetime sales of some of its biggest newer titles. That includes Wilds, which as of September 30th has sold 10.745 million copies. 10 million copies sold is something almost any developer would snatch your hand off for, Capcom included. It's when Wilds hit 10 million and what has happened since that paints a damning picture of how the latest Monster Hunter has been handled. Since it sold 10 million copies in its first month, that means fewer than 750,000 copies have been sold in the 7 months since. While Capcom wouldn't have been expecting Wilds to continue selling at a rate of 10 million copies per month, it certainly wouldn't have expected sales to fall off of a cliff quite as steeply as it has done, which is not really shocking given how many problems this game actually had at release. And then several months after launch, they tried to do this really big update fixing it, but yet they broke like 10 other things with the game. So really, they defeated the purpose of that big update, which sucks to see because I want Monster Hunter to do really good. I want people to be able to enjoy their $70 purchase. But when a company like Capcom releases something in a really terrible state, they don't update the game very quickly. Honestly, they deserve all that's coming to them. And this right here is the big problem that they now face. Even the people that purchased the game are no longer interested in it. The all-time peak 7 months ago was 1.3, almost 1.4 million players in-game at once, and the 24-hour peak is 43,000, but in-game right now is 18,184. That is absolutely abysmal for them. The numbers that they had at launch have not been touched since then. The best they had was in April with 500,000 players, but even that is still pretty freaking low compared to the 1.4 million all-time peak. Nobody is coming back to play this game, and part of that is on Capcom because they haven't been updating the game as consistently as possible. They haven't been doing big content dumps. They've just kind of set it and forget it, which is not going to tear people away from new other amazing games. I don't know if you've never played Escape from Duckov, if you've never played Silksong, if you've never played Expedition 33, even Battlefield 6. Like, you're not going to take people away from those games to go back to a title like Monster Hunter Wilds that they've either already done the story for or they've already hit their own personal goals in game. And it's just sad to see this entire situation happening. Now, as you can see, for their best-selling games, Q2 FY 2025, Resident Evil Village, 643K, Resident Evil 4, 554K, Street Fighter 6, 547K, DMC 5, 352K, Monster Hunter Rise, 254K, Monster Hunter Wilds, 160K, which has led to a lot of people roasting them, pointing and laughing at them, just saying, you guys get what you deserve. Rise is holding up pretty well while Wilds has stunted sadly. Maybe people are waiting for more optimization patches and the inevitable large expansion. Hopefully that picks things back up again. I'm surprised that Rise outsold Wilds. Man, Wilds sales fell off of a freaking cliff. Wilds was truly a flash in the pan. Yikes. Wilds dropped like a sack of shit. And of course, the scores for this game haven't gone up all that much. I mean, they had planned to fix Wilds back in June. It faced overwhelmingly negative reviews. This big content update on June 30th, it wasn't able to fix this game's terrible reputation. It wasn't able to raise the score significantly. And I think at this point, I would assume Capcom is just kind of done with Monster Hunter for a couple of years. Yes, I'm sure that they're going to be working on another game because, yeah, this ultimately did sell 10 million copies, which is nothing to scoff at. But at the same time, I think that if they release another Monster Hunter game in this state, they are going to see significant sales declines. And even with the next game, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that definitely close their wallets until the game is on sale, or gamers and reviewers have both said, yeah, it's actually in a better state than Wilds was at launch. So right now they're facing major problems. I mean, the sales for Wilds have completely fallen off of a cliff. And after they insulted gamers with releasing a game that was so buggy and broken and had so many technical performance problems, yeah, I can't say that I feel all that bad. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.